last Saturday against the Winnipeg Goldeyes. Doubled to lead off the bottom of the ninth. Scored the game-winning run on a sacrifice fly by Ray Zuber III. Chance to put the DockHounds in front with his bat, not his speed. Fly ball deep down the right field line. Over is Upshaw. It's off the wall. And the DockHounds are back in front. Chavez Young, a go-ahead double with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Alan Carter's 0-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. The first ever road sweep in DockHounds history. Alan Carter goes back-to-back in the 9th at Northwestern Medicine Field. The DockHounds break out the brooms, and they're back to 543-43. Brian Bonnell threw 4 scoreless. The Lake Country DockHounds lead the Chicago Dogs 5-0. Lake Country shut out Chicago last night 4-0. The Dogs have now been scoreless in 21 consecutive innings. Have the bottom of the order up to face Bonnell in the 5th. Derek Mabin, designated hitter, shows bunt, drops it down the third base side. Altman, bare hands, throws on the run in time. Might be the best play of the season defensively from Josh Altman, making his impact felt in his hometown of Chicago. Line drive, deep left field. Hasta la vista! A game-tying 2-run shot in the bottom of the 1st, and Lake Country's got a new long ball leader, the 19th in a DockHounds uniform for Curtis Terry. Check swing, cannon went, strike 3. JT Miller strikes out the side in the top of the 7th. He dealt for Lake Country there. Have to capitalize here. Line drive, fair, just past the glove of Boswell. Altman delivers, the DockHounds have the lead, and Connell's trying to come home. Altman clears the bases, a 3-run double, and the DockHounds are in front 4-2. Armand Upshaw, he swings at the first pitch. Chopper on the left side. Altman slides, gets up, bounce throw. Oh my! Oh. Excellent play by Josh Altman at the hot corner. That was beautiful. Oh. Maxwell hammers this left field. He splits the gap. The Flying Monkeys are back in front. Carson Maxwell have a series.
He did it again, Doc.
Strike 3. Evan Alexander is still the most recent Red Hawk to strike out against Bonnell. His first K since the 3rd. And I think that's a great way to encapsulate things for Brian Bonnell. His first 9 outs, he got 4 of them down by way of the K. Since then, hasn't recorded a strikeout. Grullon drives this deep left center. Back goes Adolph. Hasta la vista, baby! The 2nd home run of the season for Davey Grullon ties it with 2 strikes and 2 outs in the 9th on a grand salami. Ground ball, Blake DeBerry dives, feeds Sims to second for 1, on to first, double play! 4-6-3 with the star up the middle for the Lake Country DockHounds. Lines this down the right field line. That stays fair and will get to the wall. Strong bounce past Raywalt. That allows Ken Huckabee to send home Blake DeBerry. The throw goes to the plate. DeBerry safe. Dives in just ahead of the tag from Spencer Seringer. 2nd extra base hit of the night for Chavez Young. A 5 spot for Lake Country in the 4th. Through the middle, a base hit. Chavy's charging it. Dunhurst getting the wave. Young's throw to the plate is on the money.
Cannot afford to give this dangerous DockHounds lineup an extra out. Extends the inning for Mark Kloop. He swings at the first pitch, tees off down the left field line. That's fair. 1 hops off the wall. Subaru scores. Benson in the 3rd. Kloop, there it is, an RBI double. The DockHounds are within a run.
Maxwell out to right, Woodcock back, warning track, Wall leaps and makes the catch! Woodcock had to leap to record the final out, but he made the play. Just like Marihildo, got back to the wall quickly, felt the warning track, and made the catch. Might have gone over the wall, but we'll never know. Marty Costas has driven in and also scored the only run for the Chicago Dogs so far in the series against the Lake Country DockHounds. He'll lead off the bottom of the second with no runs for either side, despite the leadoff batter getting into scoring position with nobody out in each of the first 3 half innings to open this series finale. Final road game for the Lake Country DockHounds in the 2024 regular season. Away from Wisconsin Brewing Company Park, the DockHounds are 25-24 on the year. Chance for a winning record on the road for the first time in franchise history. Solo home run from Costas with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning last night. The only run for Chicago of the series. The DockHounds pitching staff has been so good here at Impact Field. It speaks for itself this series, but as well when the DockHounds made the trip to Impact Field to go into the All-Star break. 5-3 loss in the opener certainly didn't fall on the pitching staff. A shutout in Game 2. Then a pitcher's duel in the finale. John Swanda completed 7, but the Lake Country DockHounds offense can only score twice, and the Dogs took that finale 3-2. Means the Dogs have scored 9 runs in 5 games at home against Lake Country. High chop. Tiberi will have to wait for the hop. The throw's not in time. Four half innings, 4 times the leadoff runner has reached base. It's a walk from Tiberi in the first. Curtis Terry doubled in the second. To kick off the home half, Jacob Teeter doubled last inning. He was left at third. Now brings up Derek Mabin. Sharp gets ahead, strike 1. It was a brutal break. That ball probably went a good 30 feet in the air on the chopper off the bat of Costas. Line drive through the right side, base hit. Costas stumbles before getting to second base. He also had to wait for it to get through, so he's only able to advance 90 feet. Now 2 on with nobody down in the bottom of the second. I would certainly expect a sacrifice bunt attempt from Chase Harris, center fielder who's certainly in the lineup for his glove work for the Chicago Dogs. Harris batting .219 with a .624 OPS. 2 sack bunts with the Dogs. Squares and drops it beautifully down the third base side, and Sharp can't make the barehanded play. I think he wanted to go to third. He would have been able to get the out had he fielded it cleanly, but Altman was also not covering the bag. Maybe some miscommunication there defensively. Now the bases are loaded with nobody out for Chicago. The Dogs really cannot afford to squander this situation. See how they score this one here. Gus Sosa takes a first pitch strike. Sharp gets ahead with his sinker and changeup combo. Sharp does a great job at getting ground balls. Curtis Terry in, the rest of the DockHounds infield playing about halfway. Count evens, 1 ball and 1 strike. They give Chase Harris a base hit. I think that's a fair ruling. Sharp picked it up and went to first. Would have been a tough play. Didn't field it cleanly, so you can't rule that a fielder's choice. Sims now in at short. Tiberi creeps in as well at second. Sosa swings over the breaking ball. Strike 2. Ground ball would be great. Certainly a spot where you also can hunt for the strikeout. Jacob Teeter, arguably the most dangerous bat in the American Association. He waits on deck. Heard he had double today. Sharps 1-2 to Gus Sosa as the infield moves back now. in the dirt, and a great block by Napleton. With the bases loaded, opposing batters hitting .330 against the Lake Country DockHounds. Arms for the DockHounds have not been good with the pillows full. It's count now even against Sosa. Sharp gets the strikeout. First strikeout of the day. Only able to get one strikeout the first time through against the Dogs lineup. And now will face Jacob Teeter, whose 87 runs batted in. Trails only Ryan Hernandez in the American Association with the bases loaded. And one down. Double play will get Sharp out of this inning unscathed. Marty Costas at third, Derek Mabin at second, Chase Harris at first. First pitch changeup misses outside. Curtis Terry playing in at first base. Now holding on Chase Harris. Of course, that makes sense with the bases loaded. Josh Altman playing a couple of steps behind the third base bag. Shaded a little bit on the pole side. Now 2 balls and no strikes. Nowhere for Sharp to put Teeter. This is exactly what Jeff Isom wants. Bottom of the order setting the table for Teeter at the top. He's batting in the leadoff spot because he wants his best hitter to get as many at-bats as possible. Huge spot early in this one. Sharp finds the inside corner for strike one. Dogs are batting .319 with the bases loaded. 3 grand slams on the year. That .319 mark just dropped. Sharp struck out Sosa. Strike 2. Teeter was swinging for the grand salami. As they count evens. Teeter has had 12 at-bats with the bases loaded this year, and he has been phenomenal in these spots. He's got a grand slam and 18 runs batted in, batting .583 with 3 base runners out there for the Dogs. Sterling Sharp's 2-2. High and outside, full count. Nowhere for Sharp to put Teeter. Gotta come to Jacob here. Runners will not be in motion. There's only one down. Forced at any base for the Lake Country DockHounds. Payoff pitch. Fouled, and we'll do it again. Very taxing first 2 innings for Sterling Sharp. He's now thrown 41 pitches. Took him 22 bullets to get out of the first, straining 2 in a scoreless frame. Bases loaded with nobody out, just struck out Gus Sosa. Now a second full count offering. Jacob Teeter takes a called third strike. Back-to-back punch-outs for Sterling with the bases loaded. There's now 2 down. Teeter letting Tim Montoya know what he thinks about that call. Huge spot there from Sterling Sharp. Now just needs to get out Brantley Bell. Sterling Sharp will strand the bases loaded with nobody out. Bell swings through the first pitch, strike 1. Lake Country DockHounds 10-2 in their last 12 games. Been spectacular during the stretch without an off day. Even when the team's been down or in these tight spots, it's felt like every time the DockHounds have been able to wiggle their way out. This would be the most impressive, though. 1 ball and 1 strike to Bell. 49 runs batted in. He takes upstairs. It's now in front of Sharp. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bell is 2 for 7 with 6 runs batted in, with the bases loaded this year. 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, batting just .235 and 51 at-bats. Takes on the outside corner, and Sharp evens the count. Bell doesn't like the call. Montoya now screaming back to the Dogs dugout. Sterling Sharp, a strike away from straining the bases loaded with nobody out. Ground ball left side. Demetrius Sims goes to second, and Sterling Sharp leaves him loaded in the second. Struck out Gus Sosa. Cade Jacob Teeter looking, and gets Brantley Bell to roll into a fielder's choice. Now all 4 halves today, the leadoff batter has reached scoring position with nobody out, and we're still scoreless at Impact Field.